Hello and welcome to the Field Report. I'm Sergeant Brian Spradlin. Whether you're on the playing field or the battlefield, you have to be physically and mentally fit. Army Staff Sergeant Nydia Cruz brings us a look at a program that's helping soldiers maintain their minds.
The Real Warriors campaign encourages service members with psychological concerns to look for help with the motto, resilience, recovery, reintegration.
As a former professional athlete, for our service members, I think sometimes we think we're okay, we're so prideful as teammates, as members of these awesome units, that we're afraid to seek help when we might need it.
And for those reasons, Joint Base Lewis McChord hosted a game day event where former NFL players not only hung out and watched an NFL playoff game with service members, but also talked about common reintegration challenges service members face.
Most of all, it's important to you to be mentally strong and resilient, because you have to be healthy, because hurt people hurt people.
Former Gridiron members shared personal experiences and urged service members to ask for help.
If you really make me mad in the locker room, I can punch you in the face and there's no real repercussions. But when you get home, I can't punch her in the face, can't punch the kids in the face, so you have to find a whole new way to deal with things.
That's what the Real Warriors campaign is all about. For the Field Report, I'm Army Sergeant Nydia Cruz.
For more information on the Real Warrior campaign, visit their website, realwarriors.net. Soldiers who packed on a few pounds over the holidays still need to be sure to stay within height and weight regulations. Army Sergeant Keith Burkhardt shows us a new system that's helping soldiers shed some of that holiday heft.
Joint Base Lewis McChord now offers a new method in calculating body fat percentages using the latest tool, the Bod Pod.
So it works with air displacement, and so some people say that they notice their ears might pop.
It was a tight fit, but not as tight as it looks. Pretty comparable to sitting in an airplane.
I like to call this the machine of disbelief, because I feel like everyone goes in and comes out and their body fat percentage tends to be a little bit higher than what they expected it to be. And I feel that people seeing those numbers really gives them a good baseline for change and will help to motivate them to lose body fat and get healthier and reduce their risk factors. The nice thing about this is it breaks down your body fat by pounds into fat and then your fat-free mass. So it's just part of the wellness initiative to help create healthier soldiers.
Measuring approximately 99% accurately, the Bod Pod gives soldiers another weapon to fight the fat.
This is the future. This is prevention. So I always say it's an investment in their future.
You ready?
But if they're not taking care of themselves today, later on their quality of life is not going to be as high as they would like it.
If they could go away from using the tape test and use more systems like this, I think that'd be more beneficial to soldiers.
For more information, contact the Army Wellness Center. For the Field Report, I'm Army Sergeant Keith Burkhardt.
I'll be able to print it off right away.
Coming up after the break, we take a look at a Fort Lewis icon.
Now friends, you may be asking yourself why I'm in this fancy pajama suit. Well, because I want to talk about getting out of bed. And not the kind that you can lose your pinky finger over, but the kind that you can lose your good sense and those good looks over. I'm talking about sleep debt, friends. Now, I bet you're saying, ain't no such thing as sleep debt. Well, it seems like you might be in sleep debt yourself. Bump up that sleep credit score. Get yourself 7 to 8 hours of sleep every 24 hours, even if you have to take a nap. And put down that coffee 6 hours before your beauty sleep, or else you'll be getting some ugly sleep. Oh, and treat yourself to one of these fine, fancy pajama suits.
Learn how to be sleep debt free. Log on to armymedicine.mil. Fancy pajama suit not included.
In the wake of 2 mass shootings on military bases in 4 years, anti-terrorism specialist Kirk Johnson urges us to be vigilant so that Joint Base Lewis McChord doesn't become the next installation marked by tragedy.
It may be hard to comprehend the twisted logic that led to this tragedy, but this much we do know. No faith justifies these murderous and craven acts. No just and loving God looks upon them with favor.
I was inside on the 4th floor when the shooting started. In fact, we heard some sounds. We were kind of like, Kind of sounds like a muffled gunshot. We didn't know what it was. We had people running in the hallways telling everybody to evacuate.
JBLM is the 7th largest city in the state. How do you exercise an entire city? And that is a very difficult concept for a lot of folks that would be not looking at it in the same way, as anywhere else. I mean, you just wouldn't go down to Vancouver, shut down Vancouver and say, okay, we're gonna exercise Vancouver. One of the things that I hate to say, but we are kind of people that live on the installation tend to think that they are, that they're not subject to different things going on because they live on the installation. And the fact is that there's a level of crime on the installation, there's a level of things that need to be addressed. And the most important thing that people need to do on a daily basis is support the program, see something, say something. They have a responsibility, whether they want to believe it or not, whether they want to get involved or not. If they don't know what's normal in their own environments, if they don't know what's going on around their house as they're going home, what is normal, then they can't say anything. And they really need to be part of that program. They need to get on the phone and report suspicious activity.
When you think of base security, you might think of gates, and the historic Fort Lewis Gateway greets every visitor arriving at the post's main entrance. Though it hasn't been in use for years, it's been an iconic piece of Fort Lewis from the very beginning. The Tacoma-based Hurley Mason Construction Company built Camp Lewis in just a few months from June to September 1917. Upon its completion, it was decided the camp needed an archway to commemorate the incredible effort of the company's workers. 12 architects submitted designs for the gateway, with Spokane-based Kirtland Cutters design winning. The Hurley Mason workers donated free labor and $4,000 to realize Cutter's vision. Consisting of 2 stone columns topped by timber bastions with a cross member, the Camp Lewis Gateway recalls early Pacific Northwest blockhouses. The gate served as the entryway of camp and later Fort Lewis from 1918 and 1957, when it needed to be moved to make way for the construction of the I-5 highway. The gate was disassembled stone by stone and rebuilt by the modern entrance to Fort Lewis, where it continues to stand as a monument to the bygone soldiers of Camp Lewis and the military history of the Pacific Northwest. After the break, we take a trip to Washington's capital and see the sights around Olympia.
I used to skateboard. How hard can it be? I used to surf. How hard could it be?
It's like sledding. I'll make my own run. How hard could it be?
Hey, I have 4 wheel at home. How hard can this be?
Pretty hard. Know your limits and seek professional training before attempting anything beyond your current capability. Know the signs, know what's right, do what's right.
Welcome back. Army Staff Sergeant Elwin Lovelace shares how the doctors of one Army hospital make pediatric care a team effort.
Quality health care is something we all want from our doctors. But what some don't know is that many times it takes more than just one person to get the job done. On Joint Base Lewis McChord, the doctors at Madigan Army Medical Center are working hand in hand with the community to truly provide specialty care. Like this doctor, who specializes in developmental disorders. He says that with some diagnoses, it takes a specialized team and no one person can do it alone.
We find the ABA therapists and the speech therapists and the occupational therapists that will assist these children.
But it doesn't stop there. He also says that the group is part of a broader network of military and civilian professionals to give the best care to military children like those with autism. The team approach, though not new, keeps military and civilian communities together to better medical care.
So Madigan is part of the hub of reaching out to the broader community with the assistance of all these additional community-based and school-based therapists to care for these children with autism.
For the Field Report, I'm Army Sergeant Elwin Lovelace.
Seattle isn't the only Washington city that's worth visiting. Army Sergeant Keith Burkhardt shows us how the state's capital has a little something for everyone.
Well, it's no secret that the weather here in the state of Washington this time of year is a little dreary, but don't let that keep you from getting out and exploring. And what better place to start than the state's capital city, Olympia, where they have a little something for everyone. And I'm going to take you to the city and show you a few things that you can do with you and your family to get you through those rainy winter months.
While at the Capitol, check out the architecture and detail crafted into the landmark. But once you hit the streets of Olympia, it's easy to see a vibrant variety of restaurants, cafes of course, and more restaurants. There's even the Children's Hands-On Museum right in the heart of town. But for those with a more mature palate, stop by the only microbrewery in Olympia.
It's kind of Olympia's child. It's kind of grown up with Olympia. Just we've been here since the mid-90s, and we're very community oriented. We just have a lot of great beer, and if you're gonna try breweries, you got to try ours because we're great.
And there's plenty of water to go around for minors and teetotalers. So after a little window shopping, get your tickets and enjoy the show, because here, there's always something to see.
Although the winters may seem gray here in the state of Washington, you can always get a little color or even a little culture here in the city of Olympia. For the Field Report, I'm Army Sergeant Keith Burkhardt.
Well, that about does it for this edition of the Field Report. For these stories and more, check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/5ththenpad. I'm Sergeant Brian Spradlin. Thanks for watching.